Ever heard a tale so outrageous it sounds straight out of a blockbuster thriller? The kind where imposters and fake badges pick the absolute worst target, a sweet grandma with a backbone of steel, and end up eating dirt? That's precisely what unfolded on one ordinary porch, turning a lazy summer day into a legendary showdown. By the end, two phony HOA enforcers were hauled off in cuffs, a scam ring crumbled, and one heroic brother stood tall as the neighborhood's unsung guardian. If this hooks you, smash that like button early and comment below. What's the wildest scam you've dodged? Let's see how global this karma reaches. Welcome to Karen Karma, where entitled frauds and busybodies get their comeuppance. Hit subscribe and ring the bell for more epic takedowns. Karma for Karen here, dishing out justice one story at a time. Buckle up, this one's a wild ride. It was one of those perfect Saturdays in a quiet suburban neighborhood. The sun beaming down, birds chirping, and the scent of fresh-cut grass hanging in the air like a promise of peace. Grandma Nell, the heart and soul of the block, rocked gently on her porch swing, sipping her signature sweet tea laced with fresh lemon slices. At 78, she was the epitome of grace. Raised 5 kids single-handedly after Grandpa passed, kept her flower beds blooming like a botanical masterpiece year-round, and never skipped Sunday service. Neighbors revered her. She was the one baking pies for new families and offering wisdom over fence chats. That day, I was out front with my cousins, brushes in hand, giving her picket fence a fresh coat of white paint. Laughter echoed, paint splattered playfully. Pure, unadulterated calm. No one could have predicted the storm about to roll in. Then, like a bad omen, a black SUV with tinted windows crept up the street. No front plates, moving slow and deliberate, like it was scouting prey. At first, we figured lost delivery drivers, or maybe a neighbor's visitor. But when the doors swung open, out stepped 2 men in dark tactical gear. Bulky vests, mirrored shades, and badges that screamed official but looked suspiciously cheap. Dull, unpolished, like props from a discount store. One clutched a clipboard like a weapon. The other had a stun baton dangling from his belt, tapping it rhythmically. Their patches? HOA Enforcement Division. I nearly chuckled. HOA for what? Too many tulips? But their stride was all business, zero courtesy as they marched straight onto Grandma's porch. "Ma'am," the shades-wearing leader barked. "Not even a hello. You're in violation of multiple HOA codes. Non-compliant flowers, mailbox height off spec, those wind chimes causing auditory disturbances, and don't get us started on the garden gnomes. We've issued warnings. You ignored them. Time to come with us for resolution and removal." Grandma, unfazed, tilted her head with that signature calm smile. "Son, I've called this porch home for 40 years. We don't have an HOA here. Never did, never will." My cousin whispered to me, "This a joke?" But the baton guy edged closer, his grip tightening, voice dropping low. "Non-compliance means enforcement. We'll handle the removal ourselves if you resist." My gut twisted. This wasn't funny anymore. These weren't real cops. Their badges screamed fake. Their demands reeked of scam. And targeting an elderly woman alone on her porch? Pure cowardice. That's when my older brother Marcus, the family's quiet protector, built like a linebacker from his construction days, with a stare that could freeze fire, set his paintbrush down deliberately. He strolled over, muscles tense under his t-shirt, eyes locked like lasers. "You've got exactly 10 seconds to explain who you really are," he growled, "before this turns ugly for you." The shades guy smirked, like he'd been itching for a fight. "We're authorized. Step aside, civilian." And then, the unforgivable spark. Without warning, Shades reached out and shoved Grandma's rocking chair backward, hard enough to spill her tea and jolt her frail frame. The cup shattered on the porch boards, lemon slices scattering like shrapnel. That was it. The air ignited. Cousins shouted, neighbors bolted from their homes, phones whipping out. But Marcus? He exploded into motion, a blur of fury and precision. He wedged himself between Grandma and the frauds, chest heaving. "You just made the biggest mistake of your miserable lives," he snarled, voice like thunder. Baton Guy swung first, aiming that stun stick for Marcus's ribs with a vicious arc. But Marcus was faster. He snatched the wrist mid-swing, twisted with expert force, and the guy howled in pain, the baton clanging uselessly to the ground. Before the thug could recover, Marcus unleashed a single devastating punch, straight to the jaw, clean and thunderous. The imposter crumpled against the porch railing, gasping, clutching his face like it had been hit by a freight train. One down, but Shades wasn't backing off. He lunged, trying to barrel Marcus off the steps. Big error. Marcus pivoted like a pro, grabbed him by the collar, and with a mighty heave, hurled him clean through Grandma's living room window. Glass erupted in a glittering cascade, curtains tearing free, the fake badge skittering across the hardwood inside. The crash echoed down the block, freezing everyone in stunned silence. Kids gawked from sidewalks. Parents murmured in disbelief. Did that just happen? Neighbors filmed the wreckage, jaws dropped. And Grandma? She didn't scream or flinch, just straightened her chair, dusted off her skirt, and muttered with a steely glint in her eye. "That's my boy." The floored fraud groaned curses crawling backward, but Marcus towered over him, fists ready. "Set foot here again, and you won't leave on two legs." The air hummed with shock. A peaceful afternoon shattered, but justice already brewing. Whew, talk about instant karma. If your blood's pumping like mine, drop a comment. Would you throw hands for your grandma? Like if Marcus is your new hero. And if HOA nightmares hit close to home, share your stories below. We read them all. Sirens wailed in the distance, slicing the tension. Someone had dialed 911. 2 squad cars screeched up, real officers piling out, badges gleaming legit under the sun. They surveyed the scene. One fake enforcer moaning in the grass, the other dangling half out the broken window like a rag doll. Marcus stood firm, hands up but unyielding. Grandma pointed a steady finger. These men invaded my home, claiming HOA authority. There is no HOA. My grandson protected me. The cops yanked off the bogus badges. Cheap plastic, total knockoffs. "Impersonating officers," one cop muttered, cuffing them tight. "Criminal trespass, aggravated assault, you're done." The frauds sputtered excuses. "We were just collecting fees. Thought it was legal." But the truth unraveled fast. Neighbors swarmed, spilling beans. "They scammed me last month. Took cash from my aunt for fake fines." Turns out these HOA police were part of a county-wide con ring, preying on seniors with phony threats and extorted penalties. Grandma hadn't just survived, she'd exposed the whole operation. Days later, the DA charged the duo and their accomplices. Fraud, elder abuse, the works. Local news dubbed it the fake HOA sting, reporters flocking to Grandma's porch. She smiled serenely into the cameras. "I told them, no HOA here." Marcus, knuckles bandaged but spirit unbroken, stood by her side, the quiet hero who flipped the script. The neighborhood exhaled. No more shadows, just restored peace. Flowers bloomed brighter, wind chimes tinkled freely. Those frauds thought badges and bluster could terrorize the vulnerable. Instead, they crashed into unbreakable family bonds and got served a heaping plate of karma. Grandma, a local legend, her porch now a symbol of resilience. And that's how one porch brawl dismantled a scam empire. If this fired you up, share your own close calls in the comments. Did karma ever bite back for you? Subscribe for more wild takedowns, hit that bell, and follow a Karma for Karen everywhere. Until next time, remember, mess with the wrong grandma, and karma will shatter your world. Peace out.